Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum. My dear brothers, sisters, friends, well-wishers, everybody who's come here to speak for our brothers, the Uyghurs of East Turkestan. What is it that brings us here this day? Is it race? Is it color? Is it where we live? Is it geography? Is it La ilaha illallah? Is it La ilaha illallah? Is it Muhammed Rasulullah? Because these words in China, in East Turkestan, are a political statement. When I asked some Uyghurs about why are Uyghur prisoners dressed in orange jumpsuits like we were in Guantanamo Bay, it's not because they're accused of being involved in political violence. It's because their reply to Assalamu alaikum is Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, and because of that, so many of them are thrown into re-education camps, because the re-education process means that they need to extract from them their very existence, their aqidah, their belief, their identity, their religious identity, their cultural identity. Brothers and sisters, I want to ask you this question. What would you do? We all know that we have Islamophobia here. There are levels of Islamophobia. There's Guantanamo Bay, there's the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. There's the targeting of Muslims under Schedule 7 and Prevent. But then there's a completely different level of Islamophobia. The kind of Islamophobia that the Uyghurs, some of whom are here amongst us, would say to me that Wallahi al-Azim, I wish that we had the kind of Islamophobia you have in the West. So I want to ask you, what would you do if somebody said to you, you must renounce the Shahada, renounce La ilaha illallah, and in its place, recite the Communist Party manifesto? What would you do? Would you agree? No. What would you do? Would you refuse? Yes. What would you do? What would you say? La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Those are the words that you would say, you dare you say on your lips. But if you were put to the test, would you say it? If you were put to the test, would you hold on to that faith? Or would you capitulate? Because that is the test that that government of that embassy is putting our brothers and sisters through every day. And so you understand, and for the naysayers who stand amongst us and say this is all a ploy, this is a conspiracy theory against the Chinese, this is all set up by the Americans, here stands a victim and a survivor of America, the worst it can do to tell you this is no conspiracy. My brothers and sisters, so you understand, when it came to the war on terrorism, the Chinese government was working hand in hand with the United States of America. How is it possible that Chinese intelligence agents were allowed and permitted to go to Guantanamo to interrogate the Uyghurs if they weren't working together? How is that possible? And how is it possible that China wanted the United States to put Uyghur organizations on the terrorism list, and because of calling them terrorists and fundamentalists and extremists and Muslims, they have said that the Uyghurs of East Turkestan needed to be subjected to the worst of the Prevent scheme you can imagine. Targeted because they fast in Ramadan, imprisoned because they refuse to drink alcohol, tortured because they refuse to eat pork, abused because they say La ilaha illallah. And again, for those naysayers who stand amongst us, who are confused and think this is some kind of a ploy, you think that China is anti-colonial. Do you think that the Uyghurs of East Turkestan, their language is Han Chinese? Do you think that their written script is a Chinese script? Rather, they write in an Arabic script to this day. These are the original Turks. That's why it's called East Turkestan. They are the fathers, the originators, the progenitors of the Turks. It's from them that the original Turks came and migrated right across Central Asia and eventually settled in Turkey. Their language, their custom, their culture is unique. and distinct and different from that imposed by the Chinese government. So you understand that the project of the Chinese government has always been a colonial project, an imperialist project. For those anti-imperialists and anti-colonialists amongst us, bear that in mind and bear witness that we stand against China's imperialism and colonialism, and more importantly, their opposition to Islam. The only thing that unites all of us here today, from all our different backgrounds, our cultures, our customs, our colors and places of origin, is the words that we begin with and that I end with. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. These are the words that connect us to our brothers and sisters in East Turkestan, and it's for that that we stand together with them. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdu lillahi rabbil alameen.